Gaming is one of the most difficult niches on all of YouTube. It's oversaturated, it's competitive, and it is flooded with Let's Plays that nobody's watching. If you start a gaming channel in 2026 without a strategy, you are sure to get buried. So I sat down with somebody who's been doing this at the highest level on YouTube for over a decade, Austin John. If you play a lot of Nintendo games, you might know him from his Pokemon guides or his deep Zelda breakdown, or that 200 plus shiny Pokemon directory that basically functions like an encyclopedia for shiny Pokemon. Today, his channel has over 2.5 million subscribers, and while I was speaking to him, it reinforced something that I've been saying now for a while. The content you're creating on YouTube is not the game you're playing, it's you. So if I started a gaming channel in 2026, I wouldn't start by trying to make sure I picked the perfect game. I would be starting with the role that I'm playing inside that game, because building a gaming channel today takes intention. Let me explain. People don't subscribe to a gaming channel because of the game you're playing. That's basically saying they're subscribing to the game, not you. What they subscribe to is what they find once they get into that video. Maybe you're the guide creator. Maybe you're the person who finds Easter eggs that nobody else notices. Or maybe you break all the rules all the time. Whatever your role is within the content itself that they just clicked on, your audience is going to recognize it right away. And if they like it, that is why they subscribe. Austin described it to me like this.
You have to be in the core concept of, why did this person choose to hit the subscribe button? They chose to hit the subscribe button because they saw 3 of my videos about a Pokemon game that they were playing, and they wanted to get more information as it came out. They want to be educated on this specific topic.
And that's the role Austin plays in his videos. He's the guide guy. If a new Pokemon game comes out, I know exactly where to go. But something interesting happened when Austin decided to venture outside of that role of being the guide guy.
I did a 100% walkthrough of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, one of my top 5 games of all time. Over that, I think like 19 videos or something, I lost 20,000 subscribers.
Oh, in fact, walkthroughs are something Austin does really well. But people didn't subscribe for walkthroughs of Paper Mario. They subscribed for guides for Pokemon and Zelda. So when the channel temporarily stopped matching the reason those viewers subscribed in the first place, a lot of them unsubscribed. And this is a question we get all the time. What if I want to play other games? And the answer is you can, but you have to do so intentionally. And I'll break it down. You have 3 options to choose from. Option 1 is to expand your role. So if your role is going to be guide person, then going from guides to Let's Plays isn't going to work. You should be doing guides for other games. So someone doing guides on Pokemon games could do guides on Zelda games because they're both Nintendo exclusives. Someone doing guides for Baldur's Gate could do guides for Elden Ring. Those are both PC games with more of a darker tone to them. The game changes, but your role that you're playing stays the same. Option 2 would be to test it as a series. A lot of creators give this a shot, just like Austin did with Paper Mario. And if it works, great. If not, you go back to your core content. If you really want to transition, you can commit to it fully. Or you could try it as a series. It doesn't do well, but hey, at least you had fun. Option number 3 would be to split this interest into an entirely new channel. And a lot of gaming channels do this nowadays. Your main channel keeps its original focus, while your new channel tests out maybe a variety of games, casual gameplay, or streaming VODs. That way your core audience remains happy, and you still have a place to test out these new ideas that you have, or satisfy that need to make content all the time. The mistake that so many new gaming creators make is that they try to do everything all at once. But the channels who are growing and doing really well are the ones who pick a role and they commit to it. And once you know that role, the next question is, how do you compete? Every new release brings in thousands of creators who are trying to cover the same thing. So how do you actually stand out? Austin summed it up with a rule that he's followed for years.
I always say there's 3 important things you need to know to make a successful YouTube channel. You need to be the first to do something, you need to be the best at it, or you need to be the fastest.
That framework almost explains every successful gaming channel. You're going to win in usually one of 3 ways. Some creators win by being first. They usually upload guides or secrets or walkthroughs within hours of a game releasing or a new update. These channels are racing against the clock. If a new Pokemon game drops at 12 a.m., their video is up by 12:15. Speed becomes their competitive advantage, and that can work really well because there is always an audience looking for the most up-to-date information as fast as possible. Other creators win by being the best. Their guides are deeper, their explanations are clear, and their editing is spot on. Instead of rushing that first upload, they focus on making the video as complete as possible. Austin's tutorials fall into this category. He spends hours experimenting with game mechanics just to understand exactly how things work. Because the value of the video isn't just the gameplay, it's the knowledge that's within it. But we're going to go into that a little bit later on in the video. And sometimes the biggest advantage for creators is the overall speed at which they produce content. I'm talking about the person who uploads the most content the most frequently. Austin told me that the moment his phone pings him with a news alert, he can be up and ready to record in about 10 to 15 minutes. performance. In gaming, especially when it comes to new releases, that speed can make all the difference. The difference between you having a video that someone could watch or you being the go-to person for information about that game. And that leads me to another lesson. So many creators obsess over their editing, but this is something that Austin has optimized throughout his entire content production pipeline. Instead of spending time polishing a video to perfection, Austin spends that time on something entirely different. How much time goes into pre-production on your channel versus the actual sitting down to record the video, get it edited, thumbnail, all that fun stuff?
From the moment that I get a notification on my phone of something happening to me being ready to record is usually 10 to 15 seconds. It's like, oh crap, I just found this out. I got to record a video. Hey Siri, studio recording. We're on, we're ready to go. I open up OBS, I have my DSLR, I have my preview monitors, I have a lot of hardware in place to make that process as fast as possible. I then hardwired from my studio to my editing room on the other side of the house. That way I could just directly grab the footage from one computer because I edit on Mac. I have all my macros set up, and for me, I can usually edit a 10-minute video in 6 minutes. And then I can render that 6-minute video in 1 minute, upload it in 2 minutes, do my thumbnail, do the analytics, do the metadata, do the thumbnail testing and the title testing. And usually within a half hour of an event going live, my video's out.
For Austin, that is the real difference. He's not focused on the quality of the edit. He's focused on what people are getting out of it and their level of understanding in the content itself. Instead of rushing to upload, he's spending hours and hours testing out different mechanics and theories.
But when I'm doing a tutorial or like a thorough guide on something, how much time goes into it beforehand? As much as it takes. If it's me doing the testing myself, I'll record the entire video premise at the beginning of the video. I'll then do 30 hours of testing and then record it along the entire way. And then once I'm finally done, I usually scrap everything beforehand and then I record the video fresh. But because I already did all of the research and testing myself, and I'm intimately familiar with exactly what is happening and why it's happening, I can speak in a very knowledgeable tone about what is happening in real time. And the more time that you spend beforehand, the better of a result you're going to have at the end.
So when you think about it, the value of the video, again, isn't the gameplay itself, watching him for hours experimenting with all these different quirks in the game. It's the shortcut that you get out of it, that you get out of the hours of experimentation that he just did. So if I'm starting a gaming channel in 2026, I'm not asking myself, how do I make this video look super impressive? I'm asking myself, what is it about this game that I understand that I can share with everybody else? Because in one of the most competitive niches on YouTube, knowledge is the real advantage. But there's another decision that a lot of gaming channels are facing right now, especially new ones. It's the format. Should you be chasing shorts or should you double down on long form content? Because right now it feels like every creator on YouTube is being encouraged to make as many shorts as possible at all times. And to be clear, plenty of gaming creators have grown incredibly fast using YouTube Shorts. There's clip channels, challenges, funny moments, quick tips. Shorts can be an amazing discovery engine for trying to get new people to your channel. But when I asked Austin about this, he had a bit of a different perspective. For his channel, he's chosen to focus almost entirely on long-form videos because his videos are designed to be a resource. Instead of answering one quick question in one short video, he tends to make one really long video that acts as a directory. One video might contain multiple answers, multiple chapters, and multiple mechanics that someone could search for later. So if somebody wants to find a specific thing, they can jump to that section of the video, and YouTube search will point people to those little sections, those chapters of a video. However, if they don't jump around and they stick around for the entire video, they're going to learn a lot more about how that game works overall. More importantly, though, that's going to build even more trust with the viewer and Austin. And that is really the key here. If I'm starting a gaming channel in 2026, I'm asking myself, what kind of audience do I want to build? Because shorts might build an audience quickly, but long form content is the thing that people are going to remember and come back for when you upload another video. Both strategies can work and they have their merits. It just depends at the end of the day, what kind of channel do you want to build? And the final decision that gaming channels should be thinking about is their consistency. If you've spent any amount of time watching videos like this one about growing YouTube channels, you've probably heard some form of this advice already. Post consistently, stick to a schedule, upload once a week. Austin has a different approach to this. When a new game releases that he's going to be covering, His channel might go from posting scarcely to posting multiple times a day. Guides, mechanics, solutions, because it's right now that this game just came out, and that is the time people want information. Outside of these release windows though, his schedule slows down, and that's intentional. Because gaming channels don't grow in a perfectly steady rhythm, they grow in cycles. So instead of trying to force his videos to be part of a consistent upload schedule, Austin focuses on making sure that his videos are timely and packed with value. He even said something during our conversation that really stuck with me. Creators should figure out what kind of audience they want to build. Some audiences expect daily uploads, while other channels provide videos when something important happens. Neither approach is wrong, but if you're starting a gaming channel in 2026, then the schedule you choose should match the type of content that you're making. Consistency doesn't need to be something that relies on time or dates. It's just about showing up when your audience needs you. So if you're starting a new gaming channel in 2026, then making sure that you consider those 5 decisions will help you build it with intent. But if you're trying to figure out what other gaming channels are out there and how are they successful, we made that video earlier this year, and if you watch through it, it should set you in the right direction. Enjoy.